Hi, I'm Adam Driver. I'm hosting the season premiere of SNL this week with musical guest Kanye West.
Y'all got me feeling like Tiger Woods with this comeback in. But on my birthday, I actually have something special. I will be releasing the Carter 5 on my birthday.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Our Thoughts podcast. I'm Matthew Magnus here with...
In person, Cesco.
That's right. We have finally are recording in the same room.
I know. It's been a while since, the first episode? The inaugural episode?
Yes, the first episode we recorded in the same vicinity.
Yeah. So welcome back to the Bay. This doesn't matter if you're listening to the podcast, but if you're watching the video, then you know that. Then you know.
Yes, if you know, you know. But today's gonna be a short and sweet episode because we got a sick Afterthoughts episode coming up with another guest special
with our potential sponsor. Don't tell him that.
Oh yeah, we'll see what he says. Yeah. But yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. But that doesn't mean there's not stuff that there is to talk about. As of late, Kanye in the news again.
Well, today it is September 29th, and we are expecting Kanye's new album, Yandhi, to release at some point tonight. Of course, he's at the time of recording this, we're waiting on his appearance on Saturday Night Live. Mm-hmm. But man, he's been making a lot of waves the past week or 2 weeks. Yeah. Let's get into it. Yeah. First of all, the release of the wide release of his Yeezys, that's something he's been saying, to try to appeal to a wide audience and try to get the Yeezys out to everyone as much as he can. And then obviously we got the headline photo of Kanye with mixed messages over here in a MAGA, Make America Great Again hat, and a Colin Kaepernick sweater, which is just confusing as hell for me to even say. So, yeah, man, let me get your thoughts on that as the Kanye kind of guy,
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not quick to judge usually. I can see what Kanye's trying to do. I mean, he's always, that free thinking, trying to push the boundaries of everything. I mean, he's done some controversial stuff all the time, and this is just another thing. He likes creating controversy because I think it creates conversation, which is what free thinking is, I guess. So, I mean, yeah, he's obviously just trolling. I mean, it feels like all he's been doing is trolling,
Exactly, yeah.
Which is a little bit annoying because it's I want some serious Kanye.
That's the thing, I feel like his entire life is a rollout. Everything he's doing, he wakes up in the morning and he knows this is part of the rollout. All right, I gotta I'd like for him to kind of get all this, because there's a series of tweets that he made that I actually really liked. He tweeted something about social media and how you should have the option to not show the likes, the amount of people who liked it. I was like, okay, I remember last podcast episode I said okay, I would like a couple of genuine acts of acts that I feel are heartfelt before I start saying okay, he's back from the sunken place. And he got me, I believed him, but and then the whole thing happened and I was like, okay, so no, this is just really just part of your rollout. To make the rollout more potent, I would like for him in the future to just hide off, go to Wyoming or whatever and just live life that's not a rollout, if that makes sense. It would make the rollout much more, it would quiet cynics like me. So that's all I asked from Kanye. But like we said before, Yandhi, sequel to Yeezus, as we talked about in the last episode. What are we expecting?
I'll be honest, I have no idea what to expect. I mean, I know what I want. I know there's some names on there that don't really agree with, Trippy Red or something, and X is pretty good. Honestly, I like his voice because he sings more than he more than he raps. But I don't know, cause like what I was saying in the last episode is like Yeezus was so ahead of its time, and it's like it was like a very angry album compared to like My Dark Beauty, where Ye was very like intimate and kind of just real, you know. Whereas obviously like he's just like I am a god, like it seemed like he was at his peak almost, and it was kind of like Kanye like deconstructed a little bit with like the beats and the lyrics. But I hope we kind of follow a similar trend. I just hope it's more of a serious project, you know. There were some funny parts and like weird aspects to Ye, but I felt like Kids See Ghosts was a very serious project that he felt really genuine about. And I'm hoping Yandhi is the same thing, because, you know, he's using like vocals from X, who's, you know, obviously you got to respect X and stuff, but then he's also using like Trippie Redd, and I'm sure like we'll see Lil Pump on there somewhere. Like I don't know how serious you can get with them, but
Tekashi, I think I heard, was gonna be on there. Tekashi 6ix9.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. Not Trippie. Or is Trippie on there?
Honestly, it's like a who's who of like, it's a who's who of young rappers. Like I think this is like the phase where Kanye starts to like lay the ground for the next generation. Like obviously like X, like may he rest peace, but I think if X was still here, then that's what he would be doing for X. That's what he's doing for Tekashi 6ix9. And yeah, man, I definitely agree. I would like to see more than 7 tracks, but Lord knows that he's working on the album right now, and he can only do 7 tracks. Like, you know, yeah, man, I definitely agree. What are we, like, what kind of, are we hoping for back to that Yeezus sound of that angry tone? Because that's what I was worried about, it being a Yeezus sequel, because we got the angry album from Yeezus, right? And now we got this really introspective album from Ye that I loved. And then we got Kids See Ghosts, which is another kind of like, it's the introspective album. Like I remember I read somewhere that it's music that's meant to be therapeutic or something like that, because Kid Cudi and obviously Kanye like both suffer from some disorder. But would we like to see Kanye go back to that angry place, or do you want to continue down this road that we're going with Ye and Kids See Ghosts?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go back to angry, because that was like past Kanye, where he was very angry. He had his like opioid addiction, and it was like, this is a little bit later obviously, but like that kind of transfer, it kind of kept going into the Life of Pablo era. But it was, you know, when he like canceled the whole show, and like, you know, so he was a lot of stuff was going on. But what I've seen is he like went back to his roots in Chicago. He's been a lot more open and transparent back on social media. He's been talking, you know, he posted like 4 videos about just explaining some controversies and stuff with Drake and Pusha. And like, I think it's gonna be a very upbeat, happy album, like almost a contrast to Yeezus.
Wow.
Yeah, because I mean, we've gotten like a little sample from just like a snippet he posted on Instagram, and it was pretty upbeat, you know. It wasn't like the hard like crunching bass and like the deconstructed, you know, sound that Yeezus brought us. But I think it's definitely, in order to keep this image that he's created since going back home to Chicago, it's definitely gonna be like very upbeat, very, I think almost like fun to listen to. That's what I'm like. I'm not saying like I want that, because honestly, like, I don't know, like I like what he's been doing now. He's having a lot of fun with it, but I do also kind of like the serious and dark tones that Ye almost was getting into. But then, you know, Kids See Ghosts is a little different. But, you know, I don't know. I think it's just gonna be very, very different, I hope, because he's collaborating with a lot of people. And I honestly think it will be a stark contrast to Yeezus. What do you think?
Kanye knows what you want more than you. But yeah, no, I definitely would love to have a more bright, tonally album. Ye, as you know, obviously production was rushed, whatever, it wasn't mixed as well as people would hope. But the production was one of the most colorful in his discography, which I can admire just because of you can see the growth of Kanye as a person. Or I guess as of today on Twitter, he said he changed his name to Ye. But yeah, there was something I also wanted to get into. Shoot, I'm forgetting. But I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably yell it out like over the course of the podcast. But is there anything else we want to talk about Kanye with?
I mean, we just gotta wait and see.
Prayers up that it's like amazing.
Yeah, we just gotta wait and see. I mean,
yeah, I'm not like I want to praise Kanye just because of the stuff that he has given us, and it hurts to have to talk about like the decline in quality, or like to read people say that. I would love to see love for Kanye again, back to the beautiful dark twisted fantasy days. But here's hoping, there's hopefully he's not just finishing the mixing right now. But yeah, so let's get into the next topic. This Friday we got the return of one of hip hop's goats, Lil Wayne, Lil Tunechi, the Carter 5. Now, there was this album has been anticipated for not only this year but years, just in terms of what are we gonna get from Lil Wayne. And Lil Wayne is a changed person from the last time we heard him. Before I remember we were saying before we started recording is that he had this whole thing about just like yelling and kind of. Same problem with Nicki, like he kind of over exaggerates his voice too much to the point where it's cringy. But no, we get a more I hate having to say this word a lot, but introspective album, and a more like toned down Lil Wayne. So let me get your initial thoughts on the Carter 5.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, wasn't the biggest fan of Lil Wayne. His older stuff, I mean, I know he's got a lot of diehard fans out there that say some of his stuff is classic hip hop. But no, I was going in, a lot of people are hyping it. I know how big this project is anticipated, so I'm going in with high hopes. I'm not saying I haven't actually listened to the whole project. I mean, it's what, Saturday now. It came out like yesterday. So
yeah, there's 23 songs, so I don't blame you at all.
Yeah, so I'm still kind of digesting, but I listened to the highlight tracks that Cesco told me were his favorites, and I was really, really impressed because what the Lil Wayne that I remember, it was like
Millie, 6 foot, 7 foot, just
right.
like spitting like you'd have the occasional iconic line, but it was just nonstop, like songs that are meant to be bangers, not to mean that they are bangers, but he records them with the intent to be bangers, and some of them work, some of them don't. So yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying.
I kind of saw him more as like loud and just like intense, and you just kind of listen to it and you kind of laugh because it's so crazy, and like everyone's in like trying to get hype, but this one I like how he put a lot of meaning into it, and I could tell just by the way he delivers, and it's almost as if he's like aged but like mature, not like aged like
right.
badly, but he's
aged
mature,
like wine, not like
exactly. So which he's dealt with a lot between the of Carter 4 and the Carter 5. But no, I think his performance was great. I mean, standout tracks, Mona Lisa with Kendrick Lamar, one of the craziest tracks I've heard from Kendrick and Lil Wayne in a while. Like you were telling me, you could see the Kendrick's influence from Lil Wayne in that flow, and how you're saying that's the most passionate you've heard Kendrick since what was it, I or You? Yeah. The You track from
To Pimp a
Butterfly. And I was like, yeah, totally. This is like classic Kendrick, which is crazy, and I love that era of Kendrick. So we get a lot of nostalgia and throwback and new sound from Lil Wayne, which I think is probably the best combination you can have coming from someone that's so iconic. What do you think?
Yeah, so okay, let me differentiate here, because I feel like I'm gonna love the Carter Five for the same reason that I don't like Queen. Listen to our Queen episode because that's one of my favorite episodes. So you want to go back and listen to. But I go into about how I felt like I could pick and choose the songs and tell you what year she made it. Like I could tell you that Bed was made in 2014 because of the. First of all, Ariana Grande was popping in 2014 and so-and-so's. But, and Majesty.
Majesty, one of the standout tracks.
Yeah, standout tracks. However, I felt like Queen and that weird mishmash of sounds was more or less because of Nicki's incompetence. Just because of... Whereas the Carter Five felt more like nostalgia. Like that's a very thin line to walk, but I still think that there's a distinction because of the fact that Lil Wayne has so many little nuances that make it his song. First of all, like I tweeted, like if the album doesn't start with a lighter flick, then like I'm just going to sleep early. Sure enough, he does, and I feel like this is, when a person loses the ability to walk, all you're looking for is to see them walk. You don't want to see them run right away. This was me seeing Lil Wayne finally being able to walk after so many years of like inactivity, like how do I want to put this? This is the step in the right direction. There you go. That's just an easy way to say it. This is a step in the right direction because and you can tell that these tracks are an accumulation of what he's been working on for the past couple of years. Like, for example, another track that I really loved, Perfect Strangers. I'll be honest, it does sound like throwback Lil Wayne, but it's welcoming for me just because it's been so long since I've heard a new Lil Wayne track. Speaking of Nicki, I want to get Matt's thoughts on this because, as you know, he broke down Majesty to the very like bones. So I want to get your thoughts on Dark Side of the Moon, a track featuring Nicki Minaj. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm very critical of Nicki Minaj, as you may know if you've watched our last album review of Queen by Nicki Minaj.
As he wears his Astroworld sweater.
As I proudly rep the real person who got the #1 album.
Yeah, you know where his allegiance lies. Yes. By the way, hold on, before you get on your Nicki thing, I just want to acknowledge that Kanye shows Nicki how to be #2. He tweeted something this past weekend, I think Thursday. He said, it's at midnight tonight, the Carter 5 will be dropping, and while I know that Yandhi will be #2, I think that it's lovely or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, this is not a competition.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Let's get back to the dark side.
No. I have good things to say.
If you're listening on the podcast, he's holding a chair up and I'm about to smash it down.
I'm about to break that window over there.
Yeah. So let's Dark Side of the Moon.
No, it's okay. First of all, starts out, we get the great Lil Wayne flow. Like I said, I love his voice on this, how it's a little more chill and toned down and dark, and I'm a fan of the dark because of aesthetic or vibe, because I feel like we're getting closer to the artist and a little more intimate. But then all of a sudden, Nicki Minaj comes in singing, not rapping. Thank God. But but no, she sounds like amazing on this track. She sings on her own album, and I'm like, why didn't you use this song on your, because your singing on her album sounds a little too pitchy, too like little girl like trying to be animated. But this she was very serious, and I was telling you, I was like, why does she literally almost sound like Beyonce right now? I'm like, I don't know, like you said, she's like going back to her roots or something, but I was like very, very impressed, and I thought it was a beautiful track. Like, she sounded amazing, and if she wants to become more of a singer, like, go for it, because I think she sounded great. So all the Barbies out there, if I offended you, she sounds good on this one track.
No, this will be the snippet on Instagram. Like,
This is my apology, not apology, but clarification.
Yeah. To compensate for what happened with your Queen's album, it's amazing what like just a change in who is featuring on whose album makes a difference. Like the rawness of her voice. I think that's what appeals the most, is because we keep hearing what we hear from Nicki Minaj is constantly like the processed shit. Like we just hear like, you know, auto-tune and all that stuff. Like but when she came in on this one, it was like a firework just like blew off or something. Like she just like came in, bodied it with like a high note to start off. Like she started off with a high note. She didn't try to ease into it.
No, yeah.
Great track. I think this, if you want one track besides Mona Lisa, one track that will encapsulate this album as a whole, this is the one, because you kind of get the taste of that introspective
Self-realization.
Yeah. Just reflecting on like his the things that he experienced. And however, I do want to get back to Mona Lisa.
Yes. But yeah, that was just us, I mean,
compensating for
we'll give credit where credit is due. So that, if you want to be surprised at how good Nicki Minaj can sound when it's not processed through like 12 filters, go listen to that song. What is it, Dark Side of the Moon?
Yes, Dark Side of the Moon.
Like that Mulan song. That's my Chun-Li.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
No,
so
going back,
Let's go back to Standing Kendrick. He comes in, and this really reminds me of like To Pimp a Butterfly era, like how, or honestly, Good Kid, Mad City vibes, like how that whole part where he goes like poetry in a pear tree, and that instrumental, like it becomes jazz for like a quick second, and then there's a segment we'll play. I forgot. Let's play with the format here. We're gonna play a segment right here of Mona Lisa. The segment where he goes into this falsetto, like, and the storyline is like a girl who like messes with guys and like gets them set up for robberies, and then there's a sick part where he talks to the girl and it's like about cheating on Lil Wayne. Like that part, like that's what's beautiful to me about rap, is that you can tell a story in the form of poetry. Like sometimes I marvel at what Kendrick can say and how he can make it sound like it's crazy. Like we will be there for the next album tour.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, this song made me miss the To Pimp a Butterfly sound and era, because we got Damn, and that was like this huge project and a lot of levels to it. We heard, and then we got like the Black Panther soundtrack, and that was a lot more like kind of commercial, but like still it was Kendrick. Like we got a lot of really good flows from him, but he kind of switched up his sound back to a very different vibe. But it made me like miss, like, I'll be honest, like To Pimp a Butterfly is, I think, like, is in the running, tied up with like Good Kid, Mad City is one of my favorite albums, like Kendrick Lamar, because I think it was one of the most experimental, one of the most like raw, one of the most like amazing rap albums, and just like work of art to like come out by Kendrick, let alone by anyone else. So it made me like kind of want him to kind of shift back towards that really
experimental, like
visceral, like jazzy, like you said, kind of more emotion, like a lot of like, I like it when he gets really emotional, because he sounds like he's just going in. But no, that's a really great track, and like Lil Wayne and Kendrick Lamar like play off each other so well.
Right. Yeah. So we're gonna try to keep this short just because we got somewhere to be.
The Afterthoughts is coming after this,
and it's gonna be sick.
Yes.
However, I do want to point out one thing that wasn't there on the Carter 5.
Okay.
Young Money Cash Money is the label that Lil Wayne started, and we got Nicki. We didn't get Drake.
I thought you were gonna say that.
But we do know that Drake and Lil Wayne are good friends, because Drake pumped up his album on Instagram. Pumped up Lil Wayne's album on Instagram. What are we thinking? Why the absence of Drake? I was waiting for a Drake feature, even just like how Lil Wayne came in on In My Feelings for that little quick, segment. I was waiting for a little, like even just like a Drake hook. So what do you think about that? Did you feel like the lack of presence of Drake?
I think maybe the day he's supposed to be in the studio was his weekend with Adonis. So no, but like I don't know. It did feel a little weird because they obviously you have Lil Wayne, you gotta have Drake. It's the same label, but I don't know. Maybe they just didn't get around to it, or the song he just scrapped at the last minute or something, or I definitely don't think it was supposed to be any like beef or anything.
Yeah.
I think obviously they're always gonna be cool, but no, I definitely felt a little bit of like I feel like there should be another voice like coming up or something, or there should be something happening. But again, I don't think it really retracts from the album any much than what is on already. I mean, we got like Kendrick Lamar, we got Travis, you got Nicki Minaj.
Travis Scott,
good.
I completely forgot.
Travis Scott, which
the song he's been working on, he worked on like 4 years ago, I think was the tweet.
Yeah. There was like a picture of a tweet. He's like, "Yo, me and Lil Wayne working on something."
Like, it's crazy. I hope it's on the album.
Yeah, like 4 years later.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. But no, it was good.
It was good. I'll be honest, it does sound like not of this era. You know what I mean? Which I mean
makes sense.
I don't blame again because Carter 5 is supposed to be like just like what he's been working on for the past couple years. So I don't take that away from him. But yeah, overall, let's go ahead and you only listened to one half of it, so you're gonna be rating the one half that you listened to. But so I texted Matt about this album, the Carter 5, and I said that this was album of the year contention. There's only like 2 or 3 albums that I think can contend. One being Carter 5, and the other that I can think off the top of my head is Lupe Fiasco, Drogas Wave. I don't know if you listened to it. It's like really out there in terms of concept. Like I'll explain it to you in the car.
Yeah.
But like, damn, this to me gets. I don't want to give it a 10. I'm not gonna give it out of 10. I'm not gonna give it a 10 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. But that is subject to change. Time, can change a lot. So, as of right now, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I definitely want it to kind of marinate with me a little more. But I'll say it's I like it a lot. I'm very impressed with what Lil Wayne has done, just how much he's set himself apart from his old stuff. Not sure I can like fully give it a rating like right now, but
he's gonna give Dark Side of the Moon a 10 out of 10.
yes, Dark Side of the Moon gets a 10 out of 10 because Nicki Minaj needs to start doing more of that. Dark Side of the Moon 10 out of 10. Kendrick Lamar feature, Mona Lisa 10 out of 10.
Honestly, you know what? Dark Side of the Moon is gonna cause Queen to go down to a 2 out of 10 because now.
Yeah, honestly, why was that not on Queen? Like,
here we go again, back to shit. No.
I'll give you one rating. I gave Queen a 3.5. It's back down to a 3.
Yeah.
Because I said, oh, Nicki's doing something new. How does she have that in her back pocket and not do anything with that? Anyway, Queen is a 3 out of 10.
Yeah, let's get to plugging this. Let's get to plugging that. Let's get out of here.
We're gonna wrap it up real quick. Please, we have a really, really awesome Afterthought segment that we're about to film in like an hour. We're about to go BART over to the city. SF, shout out to Bay Area. But we're about to film a really cool sesh. Oh, he just texted me. Okay. So we should get out of here. Follow us on social media. Subscribe to us on the Apple Podcast. And we're on SoundCloud. New episodes every single Monday. You know the drill. Look for us on Instagram and Twitter to find out when we post.
Yeah, good to have you back in the Bay, back in person.
Yes.
And let me just say that it's not going to be the last time this happens for a while. Like, there's going to be something soon.
There's a lot happening. There's a lot happening.
And goddamn, like, there's a lot of content we're going to have to talk about. I'm antsy about it. So
Yes.
yeah, let's get it cracking.
Yeah, Yandhi drops in hopefully like 3 hours.
Hopefully.
We'll most definitely give our thoughts on that. But yeah, stay tuned every single Monday, and keep an eye out on YouTube for the Afterthoughts episode.
Sir.
All right, peace.